Hello, wherever you are in the world. This is me, Dave, G0ES, going to do an activation on POTA GB4752. It's 4752. If you can see the background, probably can't see it very well. I'll put some footage in. It's a field being harrowed, I think the correct term for it is. Anyway, we've got potholes being filled in the village, which is fab, but I'm off with my little IC705 in its action case and a backpack with too much stuff in, because I'm doing two things really. I'm activating a park, I'm activating my allotment. So we've been away for a week and we've come back, and the allotment, it's been like a 2-year project so far, terrible quality ground, my inexperience at allotmenteering and various other factors have meant the soil's pretty crap. Anyway, the stuff that should be growing probably isn't, and a load of other stuff which apparently is edible and is eaten a lot in the Caribbean. I can't even remember the name of it. I'll try and insert something into this and you might know more about it than me. But anyway, what that means is we have the allotment full of stuff. So we're going to do an activation and a lot of digging at the same time. Anyway, off to a clip of tractoring. Well, I said I was going to show you some tractor action, and I haven't. Well, it's right over there, because I've been chatting to one of the Rosbadians in this lovely village of Rosbados. Anyway, so yes, this is the route to the POTA. So I started really doing these videos just to keep myself entertained, and on TikTok I used to do videos from financial services to help bring new blood into financial advice world and stuff like that, and also give people tips on money. And it's quite interesting when you pick up a hobby again. There goes the tractor. Pick up a hobby again, he goes through a gap in the hedges here, stay with me, and you see all the bad habits people have with their money generally, particularly around retirement, planning for retirement, because that was where most of the effort goes in the financial planning world. Also with radios, because obviously capitalism is all about spending money, right? Or getting people to spend money, convince them it's a good thing. But bear in mind, whatever radio you've got, within reason, it's going to work pretty well. So you don't have to keep swapping it for new models. And you can, let's put it this way, it's all been done before. Everything's been done before with valve radios and long wires and stuff like that, even before the Yagi. A lot of us started off and literally worked New Zealand and all that sort of stuff on 100 watts with a homemade antenna, right? That's what we did. And it was commonplace, right? If you go, it was like, oh yeah, you went down the club. I did a ZL yesterday, show me clubbing over style. I did a ZL yesterday, and people will go, oh yeah, well done, yeah. I did 10 last week type of thing. And, you could get carried away thinking you've got to spend, so you can prove to everybody else you've worked New Zealand or Australia or Cook Island or, wherever. But like I say, it's all been done before. It only gets exciting really when new countries' borders change and new countries are renamed or things like that, and then you get everybody scrabbling to speak to them, or you get some rare country like currently, let's say Iran. I think they're broadcasting from today onwards, special event station, quite hard to get a QSL card. But generally, like I say, don't get too carried away with DX and spending money and QRO, let's say. In other words, big linear, big antennas and stuff like that, because it'll only lead one way, which is spending a lot of money being dissatisfied. But then again, it gives you purpose. Right? Who am I to sort of comment? But key thing is just enjoying yourself. So for me today, it's 10 watts, a squiggly wire, and do my allotment. So that's basically the whole purpose of today. Because we had the Aurora, have I mentioned this? We had the Aurora yesterday, so bands are likely to be pretty awful. Yeah, they'd be I think it was a G3 on the spectrum, so going to be pretty awful. And if I make any contacts, it will be a miracle. This is the entrance to 4752. So if people say they've activated it, they've got to get beyond that padlock. It's open when the football matches are on. The rest of the time, you go through that little starly type thing. This antisocial behaviour. I'm telling you now, there is no antisocial behaviour here. But what you have got, which is mega, you've got the old scout place over there, which there is some ability to set up, and long wire area there. And over here, let's zoom in for you, some great picnic benches. And I've very successfully, well, worked Australia from on a POTA on lowish power, putting a vertical up on that space over there. The other thing to think about activation, now I'm relatively inexperienced poaching really, just, you know, like I say, get out as often as I can in the week, stay away from weekends as much as possible because amateur radio bands are horrid with flipping contests. Anyway, so what, let's start again. Just a consideration with POTA, as far as I'm concerned, is it's about getting the activation more than the number, even though sometimes I do get carried away because of bear in mind what I said about contests. It's the competitive spirit in us all. Oh, I've got 120 contacts today, you know, that type of thing. It's just about getting your 10 in it really. When you think about it, if you make it a bit greedy, you're making your park less rare. Think about that. What do you think? Comments below on that one. But it's also, let's say you get your 10 or 20 in or whatever, I always put a couple of extra in. If I'm tough on contacts, if I get 10 contacts, I worry, because when you upload it into the POTA website, you upload your logs, sometimes one gets cancelled out, sometimes I can't work why, and other times I can because somebody's contacted me twice. You might get an FT8 and an FT4 and it's just classed as one digital contact and not two. But anyway, that's my thought on that one. About getting your 10, doesn't matter where they are in the world, does it really? It can be in Italy, Poland, Russia, Ukraine, which are probably the 4 areas you're most likely to activate you. Germany, France, all those sort of places are going to really, really help to get your 10. You don't have to be after proper DX, do you really? Because you just want 10, that's it. Doesn't really matter where they are. I've arrived at the allotment, believe it or not, all that there was clear, except for the plants I wanted growing. There was nothing there. This has literally been away for a week. There was nothing there. And these look like beetroot, but they're flowering. Didn't plant them. I planted that lettuce. I planted stuff there. Isn't growing. A lot of work to do. But first of all, and an infestation of weeds on the left, first of all, what to do now is get the antenna set up, sorted out. These poly poles are dead handy. What I'm going to do is I'll just shove these in here, as you can see, and I put the long wire on there, so I'm going to put them along the fence. So here we go. This is the mystery plant that wasn't growing here any time in the past. This is a recently created allotment by the parish council here, and let me just tell you, this was brambles and grass and stuff like that, and not the best grass either. Anyway, that's beetroot that I've planted. Look at this, totally, absolutely invaded by this, according to my son on his reverse Google, is a plant that's eaten a lot in the Caribbean. So what am I using for an antenna? You've probably seen me use this before. This is a Wonder Wand widebander. You can see inside the box, you've got the wire and you've got the widebander. Pretty straightforward. The other thing I use is the tunable counterpose with the widebander, which is literally here, and that attaches, see they've got the wire attached, it attaches onto this pole here. You can fasten that down and secure it even more, and literally you have, let's say it's tunable, so it depends on the band where you click this, you get to find out over time, and you tune the widebander per the particular frequency by, that's the fine adjustment, usually about there, and depending on the band, you click this round to get the lowest SWR by tuning on noise. I'm sure you've seen this a million times on other people's videos, but that just gives you a bit of an idea. Well, that was fascinating. I tuned to 40 metres, literally post Aurora, zilch, literally tiny little blips on the waterfall, preamp turned up, and this is FT8, right, nothing, because FT8 enables allotmenting at the same time, whatever your thoughts. And let me just show you what's going on the screen. I've just made a slight change. I've got on 20 metres where I've got some activity, but if you notice these figures here, -9, they're not the strongest signals, and I'm going to be pumping out 10 watts. I don't know how this is going to go, but that just gives you a bit of an idea. Just like with all these things, as you know, is getting onto the POTA app, making sure you're activated and visible. Initially, I ditched the 40 metre idea and nipped onto 20 metres, a bit more activity on there, put out a few CQs, and just like all these things, a bit like fishing, as I've mentioned before, you're just about to give up, and what happens is you get a bite. Great activity from German stations today, and thank you very much for that. After a while, when it was slowing down for me on 20 metres, I popped over to 40, and guess what? 40 had woken up. We had activity, and I managed to make some contacts. So it just shows you how the bands move around, particularly after what we've just had. Good old PSK reporter showed that my signal was going everywhere. And like all things radio, your signal might be getting out there, and people are reporting it, thank you very much, on a PSK reporter, but it doesn't mean people are hearing you, in the context of being able to get a QSO with them in your chosen method. What did I say earlier? Don't go for DX, just go for contacts and get a few more than 10 just in case the POTA website won't accept them. However, look, I've run out of time. I've got to get back, got to get home. It's midday and I've managed it. 40 metres, 20 metres. 40 metres, as you saw, just wasn't live, and it came sort of alive. 20 metres seems to be picking up now. There's lots of activity there, but just haven't got a chance. So hopefully those 10 contacts work. I have a really nice time. I don't know if you can tell by the allotment here. It's going, not brilliant, but getting there. So thanks ever so much for watching. Comments below. What content do you want to see? I mean, I'm really into poetry more than anything else, but you know, this is just my way of keeping me head straight during these personally challenging times and enjoying radio. So have a good one, 73s.